Welcome back to Benkei Watches. We are an online Swiss luxury watch dealer based out of Orange County, California. We do watch videos and comparisons so you can figure out what the best watch is for yourself. Check out the details below for these watches. They're available at benkeiwatches.com. Today we're going to be looking at the differences between the Omega Seamaster Professional Diver 300 and the Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch, this one with a Hesalite crystal. Both watches are very popular in their own right, and I'll go over the differences and we'll talk about why you might buy one over the other. So let's jump in and see what it's all about. Watch enthusiasts have come across the Omega Seamaster and Speedmaster watch models, and their popularity keeps the wheels spinning at Omega. On one hand, we have the Omega Seamaster, which is tied to the likes of the fictional James Bond character. And on the other hand, we have the iconic Speedmaster Moonwatch that's an actual tested and proven watch certified to go into space. It was worn on the moon. Think about that for a second. Wow. Let's start with the similarities of these beautiful watches. Both watches have a 42 millimeter case size, and the thickness of the stainless steel watches are roughly the same, with the Speedmaster at 13.58 millimeters from front to back and 13.7 millimeters for the Seamaster. However, if you look at the lug to lug, which is from top to bottom, the Seamaster comes in at 50 millimeters, and the Speedmaster is just over 48 millimeters. Both watches will fit on my 6.5-inch wrist. The previous generation of bracelets had end links that pushed out and created a gap between the watch and the wrist. Omega corrected this issue by having their bracelets point downward instead of outward. This allows people like myself to wear a 42 millimeter watch like these two. The dials are drastically different, where the Seamaster has a white index dial with luminous dots and hour and minute hands. There's a mix of blue and green lume to differentiate between the hour and minute hands. The black outline on the hour markers and hands make it really easy to read the time. The Speedmaster Moonwatch has a traditional black dial with luminous index hour markers. It's really easy to read in low light conditions. Looking at the sides of the case, we can see both watches have the lyre lugs, but they're shaped just slightly differently. The case on the Seamaster looks beefier with flatter sides. The Speedmaster's case sides are narrower and makes the watch look and feel somewhat smaller. The Seamaster crystal and case back makes the watch slightly thicker. The Seamaster Diver is rated for 300 meters of water resistance, while the Speedmaster is rated at 50 meters. You could go swimming with either of these watches, but the Seamaster is the dive watch, and it's built for that. I don't think I'd trust my Speedmaster in a hot tub either. On to the bracelets. The Seamaster bracelet has a semi-polish, and it looks all too familiar like previous generations. The bracelet width is 20 millimeters at the lugs, but it doesn't taper down like the Speedmaster bracelet does. This makes the deployment clasp larger than I prefer, but it doesn't bother me too much. There's a nice diver extension and a quick adjustment on the bottom of the clasp. The Speedmaster bracelet has a full satin finish on the front, with high polish on the sides for some nice contrast. The taper of the bracelet from 20 millimeters at the lugs to 15 millimeters at the clasp is very similar to the Rolex bracelet. The new retro vintage look on the clasp looks awesome, and it even has a 2.3 millimeter extension for deploying on hot summer days. Going on to the movements. The Seamaster uses a self-winding coaxial caliber 8800 with date function. You get a 55-hour power reserve if you like wearing a watch every day. I suggest buying the automatic. The closed stainless steel case back stays true to the original Moonwatch. The 3861 movement is a tried and tested master chronometer, but it's still a manual. Personally, I prefer an automatic for everyday wear. Omega has created some of the best watches in the industry, and they continue to find ways to up their game. They made it possible for me to wear both of these watches comfortably with the new bracelet design. To conclude this review, I personally prefer an automatic watch, and I would find myself wearing the Seamaster Diver on a rubber strap rather than on a bracelet. It's lighter weight, and I won't have to worry about scratching up the bracelet. You might consider having a 42 millimeter Speedmaster in your collection with the newest retro style bracelet. It fits smaller wrists like mine now, so I'm not stuck wearing a reduced 39 millimeter Speedmaster. The satin finish will hide scuffs a lot better than the Seamaster because it's a manual watch. I'm going to find myself wearing it sparingly as a weekend watch. Whether you pick one or the other, both watches are great examples of Omega's most popular watch models. It really depends on where you're at in your watch journey. Thanks for watching this review on the Omega Seamaster Diver 300 and the Speedmaster Moonwatch. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more watch videos and comparisons at Benkei Watches. You can buy either of these watches at benkeywatches.com. This is Chris at Benkei Watches.